Hi, Barry. Hi, Don. Well, it's that time of year again, and well, the festivals are starting again. Locally here, they're having a Santo Nino deal, and there's a long church session. And then there's well, I guess you call it the procession in the streets where they're going to honor this, Santo Nino. So it'll go from the church, how many hours in there, then goes to the procession, the church parades, and I've actually attended several of these things. I didn't do it for me; I did it for my girlfriend out of respect, and just to be part of the community and blah blah blah, but to satisfy her, not me, because I'm really not religious. But I did that for her. But this year, I said, no, 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 no. I'm in a lazy mood today. That's why I wouldn't put on all these shows lately. Um, I was just in no mood to. I don't know where they get their patience. I just really don't. To go into a church and listening to, for 3 hours. The funny thing is, the two children that live here, they're going to be like wanting to be altar boys now. I'm saying, wow, wow. I mean, cool. They want to be. And you see how religious they are out here. Very religious people. And, well, they're good kids, but, going to church don't mean you're good, but they are good kids. I mean, in general, if somebody goes to church and all that, it doesn't mean they're good at all. Because most religious people are highly, hypocritical. They're hypocrites. They're hypocrites. But don't get me going on that. I think I've expressed myself before. It's one of those to each his own type deals. I have no problem with what you believe in, but don't force it down my throat. You know. Oh, okay. Yeah, you know who's on here, San. Hi, Frank, and hi, Bummer, and Dumb C. Dumb C. That's a good one. I like that. Dumb C. Okay. Oh, I guarantee. See, here's the thing, guys. This goes to show you. See, okay, Frank is all this time. He's on here. Yeah, I'm retired. Okay, whatever. I'm not out there doing backflips and all that shit. But for these people who proclaim to have this wonderful life of activity, to go and play student, if I put a show on, guess what? Who's there? Knock, knock, right? They're right there. So, what does that tell you? What does that tell you? Take a wild guess. What does that tell you? I'm here. That's what it says. It says, I'm here and I can't stay away from you. I think, I don't know. Maybe Donny Boy, I don't know, man. Maybe it goes both ways. I don't know. I think the guy's in love with me. Yeah, I mean, it's just, it's just a passing, horrible, horrible thought. But maybe the guy thinks I'm sweet or something, and that sultry voice of mine, that wonderful. I mean, you just don't know. I mean, out here, you just don't know, You know what I mean? Yeah. You just really don't know. We got some odd fellas out here. Heard of the movie Goodfellas? Well, on here we got the odd fellas. Oh, we sure do. We sure as hell do. I got a chance to read a lot of the comments. I gotta tell you. Well, first of all and foremost, Barry's been a busy boy. Been a very busy boy. Comment here, comment there. Well, understanding about the situation as long as they're letting him use his phone. I do suppose that you and I would do the same thing. I mean, well, some of us would be smarter and say enough is enough. They cause enough problems for themselves and, you know, not do anything except maybe listen or watch a movie or whatever it takes. But no, 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 no. No, Newman. They don't do that. Barry's on there all the time. You could set your watch to these guys. And Donnie C. I'd like to be that proverbial fly on the wall. I like to see how they're really living their life. I mean, really living their life. I'd love to be that fly on the wall. And I'll tell you what, my thoughts on that, what I've always thought, it's not the life that they tried to project. Yeah, I came on because she's going out to this thing, and I said, nah. I said, not this year. I just really don't have the patience to go. Well, even the past couple of years, I know I didn't go into church. I'd internally explode into a ball of fire. Although I did go into church a few times, and we were part of some wedding ceremony. And I don't know, I was sweating a lot and felt pretty warm. I thought I'd burst into flames, but that didn't happen. But I did, to support my girlfriend and, good for exercise. I spent hours, a couple of hours walking with them and the whole procession. I finished the whole thing. It was the past 2 years I did that. I know the past 2 years I did that. But there's a limit even to that. Okay, we're all done. You showed the saint, and they got to carry the saints around to show everybody else. It's part of the culture, man. Look, I'm religious. I'm religious. Here's the saint. I got it in my arms. Here's the saint. That's what they do. It's like Popeye carrying all those American flags on his mobility scooter. I'm an American. I'm proud to be an American and carry that Union tag. One of those deals, God, the conformist, the cattle of the world. It's embarrassing as a species. Nobody could be original. Nobody. But anyway, I decided, man, I'm not going to be part of any procession. Too crowded. Too many sick people. I'm not going to catch anything. I just don't have the energy to do that this year. Not even to satisfy her. Everything is kind of prolonged as everything else is. What a big, beautiful yellow bird I just seen fly by. Everything is so prolonged. Everything takes its time. By the time they start something, you think that's about the time that they would be finished with something, but it just doesn't go that way. Example, someone invites you out to some kind of a soiree, some event. They say, yeah, 6 o'clock p.m. Oh, let's say 5 o'clock. And it really don't start till 7. So, there you go. Oh, you mean the one where he repeated something he found on the internet? It wasn't my resume, but it was some information about what I was doing. Background a little bit. Is that what you were referring to? Oh yeah, I enjoyed that. Oh, I absolutely did. He wasn't knocking me, but in his mind, he thought he was knocking me somehow. After all that, he says, yeah, it's all bullshit. It's all bullshit. Yeah, right. It's all bullshit that they were going to find you and arrest you, immigration, and put you in fucking jail. I guess that was all bullshit, too. I guess it was all bullshit that I had a case against him. Now he's got 5 counts that he's going to court. I guess that's all bullshit, too, huh, Barry? Is that all bullshit, boy? It's not bullshit. It's fact, bro. It's fact. Everything's bullshit to Barry. Unless something goes his way, it's not bullshit, but everything is bullshit to Barry. Because the guy never did anything with his life. I mean, that's just a fact. Yeah, hold on. Okay. I just referred to that community post. I mean, I'm proud to be an American. I'm not going to carry flags around with me or wear an American shirt. I mean, I was born and raised in the United States of America. I'm not anti-America in that sense. I'm just anti what it has become, and in a sense, I'm anti all the bipartisan shit, all the division of people based on political preferences. That's all. Well, there's more than that. The violence in America now is out of hand. The rage is a machine. A lot of rage in the United States. People are moving out in droves. But they're also moving in, too. Everybody wants that American dream. They all want the American dream. But they come there, and chances are it becomes a nightmare because, well, put it this way. A Filipino wants to live in America unless she has reason to be there, like married a guy and all the paperwork right and gets out there. Look what happened with Chrissy. I mean, Chrissy became totally Americanized, man. She snubs her nose at some of the kinds of restaurants and seedy areas of town. That was part of her life, these college daddies. But now, Tim had to take her to like 6, 7 different restaurants before she decided. That's called being spoiled. She spent too much time in America. Now, she's the upper class now. That's called Americanizing your Filipina. Americanizing your Filipina. That's the worst thing you could do. Brisket says they got the taste for champagne quickly. Yeah, I know what you mean. Oh, it happens fast. Tim don't have a future with her. He does all that clickbait, oh, they're not together or some crap like that. Oh, somebody I know did that too. It's all fucking clickbait, man. Now, Tim is an intelligent guy. He actually is. But emotionally, he's a dumb shit. That's not a match made in heaven, I'll tell you that. As soon as she gets really settled in with her nursing and all that stuff, she's gonna dump him like a hot baked potato out of the oven, man. That's my prediction. Where he uses all this clickbait, but someday it's going to be real. So basically, no procession for me this year. I could have gone. I said I think I'll pass this time. I'll just do that for her, But not this year. when it comes to celebrations, countries like Philippines, Mexico, well, actually, it's really all countries. They go way out, but they really go way out in this country. Very highly religious people. Something wrong with that if you're a religious person. Me? Well, no. Period. And I'm not going to change to please a woman either, you know. I respect her beliefs. She's highly religious, but I'm not going to be a simp and convert like so many goddamn men, have done. They converted. They didn't do that because they wanted to. They converted because they want to appease. Get off that. Come on. They wanted to appease their wife or their girlfriend. Nah. Homie, don't do that shit. No. I never will. I'm not going to convert for anybody just to please them and fit in. I'm not going to do that. Like I said, man, I have nothing against anybody's religion. I don't care if you're a Catholic, Muslim, I don't care what you are. I respect what you believe in, but, you know, it has to work two ways. And it doesn't always, but, you know, they got to respect the fact that maybe you're not religious. You have your own beliefs of your own, whether it's just spiritual or whatever it might be. But every man is his own church, if you think about it. Every man and woman is their own church. You don't need to go into a structure to believe in something, you know. You don't have to be part of the bigger picture of sorts where you have to go to, well, these sometimes secret meetings or you know, everybody wants to feel that they belong to something. And that's like here on YouTube. They want to feel like they belong to something bigger and better than they are. You know, like YouTube is going to solve their problem. No, it's just going to cause problems. It's not going to solve their problems. It'll cause problems, as somebody found out. You know, more and more each day that goes by, I'll be honest with you, I hope that motherfucker just rots in fucking jail. His comments haven't stopped. He can't stop. I have no, and forgive the word, mercy for this guy at all. I have absolute no compassion, no mercy. I'm never going to change my mind. That ain't going to happen, no matter what happens, if you know what I mean. That's it. Hope he rots in fucking jail. Why? Because he deserves it. If anybody deserves it, it is this guy. Now, all the same people that couldn't stand him and still can't, they're taking the high road. Some of them are taking the high road with him. They hate his fucking guts. But because it's me that's instilling justice to this guy, that's why they attack me. They can't stand his guts. They know the guy's a fucking loser. They know the guy has done this and done that many times before. You know, he has taken your money. You know, he has used it for things other than his own purpose. And I could go on the whole afternoon about this guy's character, but you already know that stuff, so I don't have to waste my oxygen. But they'll support him on some level, only to piss me off or try to piss me off, but they haven't achieved that. They're not going to stop what's going on with him. They have no hand in this at all to stop what's going to go on with him in court. They have no say at all. I do. Fistos is back. He did a donation drive for a visa hop to Guam a few years ago, then pretended to have actually, yeah, I know, and he came back same day or something. Oh, no, wasn't that Manila? Yeah, something like that. Yeah. He never actually went anywhere. I remember that. So you guys want to trust him, go ahead. What happens when his lips are moving? You know the rest of the sentence on that. That has not changed. I don't anticipate that changing for all. His own God could come in front of him and say, "You're a fucking loser and you need to change." And he'll say, "I don't have to change anything. I don't have to change anything. Frank's a pedo," he'll say to God. Yeah. He'll even tell God he's a pedo. Of course, he never went anywhere. He didn't do any of that shit, man. Oh, hell no. I was just watching Resident Evil Final Chapter, though I've seen that before, but not much on it. My remote control is kind of fucked up, too. To get it to work, it's like, you got to play with this fucker. But no, she went down to engage in the festivities, and I like to do that in my own terms. Go down there for a little while, show my face out of respect, whatever. And I don't stay. Well, I did the past 2 years. I stayed for all the church thing. I kind of, got myself out of that and just came for the, procession. I didn't want to do anything more than that. But I walked with them the whole time, singing and dancing, everybody in there. I wasn't singing and dancing, but they were, and holding the saint, of course. You got to show the saint, just like Popeye's got to show the American flags on his mobility scooter, I'm an American. I'm proud to be American. Well, good for you. Good for you. And unfortunately, your country's gone to shit, which is my country. Again, don't get me wrong. I love America, but I'm not rah America. I'm not rah American. Separates people. I knew a chick, and she wasn't a girlfriend. And she lives in, was it Wisconsin? No. Well, it don't matter. No, Nebraska. Nebraska. And they are like, I think they're like big on the Republican side. And she's highly religious too. I couldn't get along with her as a freaking friend. It divided us because it is a one-sided deal. You believe in what I believe in, or not. No, I'm not going to force anybody to believe in anything really, except that the guy in jail is an asswipe. But you all know that. But I'm not going to say, "Come over to my side." I'm not going to do that. Let me believe whatever it is I believe in, what my values are. I will respect yours in return. And I'm going to respect yours anyway. It don't matter. American flags plastered onto made in China mobility scooter. Yeah, right. There you go. There you go. Exactly. Rah America, but we're buying Chinese. Even in America, everything is Chinese. So much for honoring America and the laborers who built America and for what it stands for and the Star-Spangled Banner and all that stuff, Nah, man. Shit, America's buying arms, selling arms to enemies, for God's sakes. But there we go, God's sake. What does that tell you? They're sending weapons to enemies, are buying to this mercenaries, black market, and straightforward on the American market. Capitalism is the name of the game. You'll even send your enemies the same weapons they're going to use against you to kill you. Go figure that. If you could figure that out, let me know. That's why America is so fucked up. China owns America financially. How many trillion or something do they owe the Chinese government? But they used it as a balancing rod, kind of a gyroscope, bending and, kind of moving with the flow. China would like to get paid back, but that's never going to happen. But America sends funds to enemies and weaponry, and holy cow. It's changed a lot. America has changed a lot. And not in a good way. I understand why people are moving out. It's not just the expenses, although that's a good reason, but it's so divided. So divided. Everything is based on money, no matter what country you live in. Friendships might have to do with money, relationships might have to do with money, you know, everything's to do with money. Then you work for a boss, and he's the one that tells you what kind of car you can drive, how many vacations you can take, what kind of house you could afford to live in, rent or buy, style, price. It's your boss. That's why a lot of smart people start their own businesses. They're their own boss. Because you're being a slave to the man, is what you are. You're being a slave to the man. He controls your life, whether you know it or not. And if he fires you, your income stops. So you got to kiss your boss's ass, which I never did. I went to my boss, put a fucking paper down and said, I resign. I'm not going to deal with this crap anymore. That's exactly what I did. And boy, I saw some faces hanging on that one. I didn't even reach the term of getting vested. And I quit. I said, enough. Who has the balls to do that? Anyone out there have the balls to do that? Even though you needed the money, you said, fuck this shit. It's time to jump off this fucking train wreck. Don't get me wrong. It was a good job for, for what it paid at the time and the benefits and all that. But there was politics in there like there was anywhere else. No different. In fact, there were more politics. You were dealing with gay rights, which overpowered everybody in the system. They took over the whole city. Mayors became gay. Not, as Jerry said, there's anything wrong with being gay, but it was politics. You looked at them the wrong way, they try to sue you. Boy, did I witness that a lot in different departments. Lesbian, whatever, gay community, lesbian, bi, gay, whatever, LBGJ or whatever the fuck it is. They controlled the city, man. They overpowered. And there's no antidote for it. None. If you want to work under conditions like that, good luck. But that's everywhere. You can't get away from it. Not even out here, certainly, because there's probably more sexually divided people, shall I say it nicely, out here in the Philippines than most places. Everybody turns out to be a ladyboy. You can't even go in the street if you're looking for one of these kind of people. Like a few on YouTube do. You wouldn't know the difference unless you grabbed the nuts or something or looked at their Adam's apple the size of their hands if you're being observant. There's some good-looking, ask Ricky. There's some good-looking ladyboy. Then again, the ones he had, they weren't good-looking, but him as an example. But there's some good-looking ladyboys out here. You would not know it was a male. You would not know. In fact, they look better than the women. They paid attention to a lot more detail. Shit, I've been approached by women since I've been out here. Oh, lots of times. I would swear, up and down, that was a woman. Probably had the breast implants, everything. Hormone shots or whatever. You would swear. And I remember giving a story that my brother, they were in Greenwich Village, New York, a couple of his friends. And down there in the village, there was some chicks they were talking to, and really good looking, And then, because my brother didn't participate in that, he wouldn't go there, and thank goodness he didn't. He had brains to do that. But the guys turned around and said, fuck, man, they're good looking, man. I'm going to go with it. Even when they found out, they were men, not women, but they looked so good, they couldn't resist. No, I never had to do that. Nor will I ever do that. I don't swing that way. I don't even have a curiosity about it at all, but a lot of expats come here They see these good-looking women and say, I would not normally do that in the United States or wherever it might be. I would not normally do that. But it's looking so good that they're willing to try it out. But then they'd have to live with the guilt of what they did. But then it goes even further than that. They're already guilty of what they did. So they do it again. It becomes a habit. They got an interest in ladyboys, just like a particular vlogger out there who likes them ladyboys. No, I ain't going there. I never will. Brisket. It's gay to me. I don't understand how men go with them and not see it as gay. Oh, I don't know. Maybe it's a challenge for them. Maybe it's, I don't know. I can't answer that. But, trying something different or doing a little guilty sin of something, well, they're looking at the lady. They're looking at they got breast and long hair and they look all purty and all that stuff. And that's the point. They're going to look all purty and stuff, but then they still have a 3-piece set unless they got around to doing that. Nah, man, I couldn't live with myself. I'm telling you already, up front, I couldn't live with myself ever doing anything like that because I never would do that. But if I did something like that, I would not be able to live with myself. I would find it very hard. Whether it's a bet or something, if somebody bet me or something, or even if somebody paid me to do it, I could not do that. I got to live with myself, man. That's not where I swing. I just don't. I think it's gross. Now, everybody's religious, talk about God. God made a man. God made a woman, right? Is that what you believe in the Bible? For purposes of procreation. Now, if it was man on man, you can't have a baby. Woman on woman, you can't have a baby. Well, you can these days. You could adopt or in vitro somebody, whatever, but it's not the same. Do you notice how bold some of these shows are? Who was I watching? Holy carapo. Oh, it was Amsterdam, which is like a hospital series. And, some of the staff members are gay, and they were showing such illicit scenes you wouldn't believe of two guys just passionately kissing on each other, then getting undressed. And I'm like, fuck. Come on, man. Don't influence the kids is what I'm saying. Let's keep the world straight and on and where it should be. Man with a woman, woman with a man. But that's just me. I know we live in different times. I understand that, but I'll never change on that one. My outlook on that, never. But children these days will go to these gay pride parades and all that, and everything is being pushed on our children these days. Everything. They're getting influenced, even by Trump, who tries to play this bully type of character. And the children that see this on the news and everything he's doing, they think that's okay to act that way. Everything influences children. It's grooming. It makes me sick. That's real grooming. Yes, grooming. That's what it is. It's the same thing as, some stores, whether they do that or not, I know that for a fact that they used to do that, to get customers in, subliminal shit. They have like a little electric machine or something with a fan and a little basin, and according to what kind of food they sell, they would have this liquid, and they would have it, the smell of this particular food, whether it was a pizza or whatever it was, and made sure it got out into the streets or got out into the mall. Maybe you didn't know about that, but that was going on for quite a while, and probably still is. Subliminal things in commercials. Okay, it's not like that movie, They Live or whatever, where you have to wear the sunglasses and you see who they really are, the aliens that took over. There is subliminal stuff in commercial advertisements on TV, and there's nothing new about that. It's nothing new. subliminal. And you'll see things with your eyes that maybe your conscious is not readily seeing because it's such a minute amount of time that your eyes are not really responding to it. You know what I'm talking about. Subliminal stuff. People are being hypnotized every fucking day in different ways. Well, if you're in a big city, more so, rather than a small city or a little town. I don't think so. But people are being manipulated and they don't even know what's happening. They have no clue. See, I think out of the box. I do pride myself on that. I never see anybody in here coming up with topics matter I do on here. I never see it. I never. They don't have an open mind. They don't see out of the box. If you don't have an open mind and can't see out of the box, we wouldn't have telephones. Okay, we wouldn't have refrigerators. Imagine a phone you could talk to all over the world. You could carry it in your pocket. Someone had a dream. Somebody made technology from, well over 100 years ago to come up with the first telephone. And there's, of course, a lot of argument on who actually developed the telephone. Was the Italian guy or was it the other one? It's like, but there's Marconi. There's so many people, Edison and fighting over who really had the patent or, who really actually developed it, But nevertheless, we live in a different era. Major changes since 100 years ago, that's for damn sure. Has it helped us, though? Yes and no. To way to answer that. Technology has helped us in many ways, make things a little easier for us, but at the same time, technology is actually destroying us. You influenced all the time. I'll give you an example. I was very fair with a few girlfriends I had in the past I was really interested in. And if we had any problems at all, okay, I was more than open to go to a counselor. No problem, man. We got an issue, let's resolve it. But if you go to a female counselor, I'm going to tell you right now, it's going to be one-sided. The female influence. You're the bad guy, not her. My daughter went to a counselor. The counselor was saying, no, no, no. Your dad was very protective. I have no problem with that. A very liberal, Seattle type. She had her own problems. She'd go for counseling. Apparently it didn't help, but. Well, my counselor said this, and my counselor said that. Oh, really? Was your counselor, by the way, male or female? Female. Oh, okay. There you go. Poisoned her brain. What the fuck is wrong with being overprotective of your child when they were very young? Oh, man, I take pride in that. I have no problem with that at all. Considering most parents let their kids run all over the street unattended. They don't know where the fuck they are at night, don't come home. Let them just run wild, get in trouble with the law, drugs, smoking, everything. I was one of those parents. I was a mother hen. But you got to understand something. I was playing both roles as mother and father because I never really was having a long-term relationship after I divorced her mom. You got to understand that. I had to play both roles, and that was not easy. I succeeded, but I'm never going to tell you that it was easy because it wasn't easy. No, it wasn't. It was not at all, but I did it, So imagine having to have a talk with your daughter who's bringing up things to you that you don't want to hear, whether it's bodily changes and functions, whatever. And I would say, I think you need a female perspective on this, but I would do the best I can to answer her questions and things like that. After all, I was playing both roles. I think I did it pretty well, considering. Because I dated a lot, but I wasn't in a lot of long-term relationships. And that was kind of sad too, because she started getting used to one woman and starting to develop a little bit of a bond. Then we would not longer be together. And then it's like, back to the chalkboard. And that's not good. That's not really good because she was, in fact, I was so considerate for her. Do you ever hear of the organization? It's either brothers or sisters. And I wanted her to get kind of a female friend, you know, that she could feel that she could talk to, who's also a female, right? Two females to go out, do activities together. I did that for her. What do you call that organization? Big Brothers. Thank you, man. Big Brothers and Big Sister. Man, I did that for her. Can you believe that? I did that for her. How many parents would do that? I did. I did. She knows damn well I did if she's listening. She didn't really like it. The last one, some redheaded chick, I don't remember what her name was. She was okay, but she did not really adhere to this, But no, I did that. I went all the way. That's how much, you can see a father really cares about his child. Because she really didn't have a lot of friends. From school, all these people, and maybe she had a couple of girls from school, Melissa and somebody else, that, occasionally would hang around with or something, would certainly talk on the phone or whatever. But on Facebook, yeah, Facebook. Oh, everything was Facebook, of course, Yeah, Big Brother, Big Sister organization. It's a good organization, actually. You want to donate to something, donate to that or something. I mean, it's actually a good organization. But she didn't really totally take to it, But, I did my part. Can't hold that against me. And she can't hold that against me. I have a lot of consideration. When I divorced her mom, how we're way off topic on this shit now, but starting off with a procession. But, I didn't want her to think that it was her fault that we broke up, because a lot of kids think, oh, did I cause this problem? And of course they didn't. So I gathered a lot of people. She was familiar with friends and stuff like that. And it stayed long. It was just a short thing there. And had a cake. And what I read on there is for a special girl. No birthday, nothing like that. For a special girl. She didn't know about this. And had some people come over, offer support, not money, just to show her in her own way that, look, this is not your fault that we broke up. And that was a good thing to do. And I did that kind of stuff. So it don't matter. I mean, at this point, she knows well. Whatever her psychological problems are as an adult now is really beyond, out of my hands. She's an adult. Shit, she's in her 40s now. Gosh, time goes by fast. 40s. All you could do as a parent is to be a parent. Excuse me. I'm looking at this mess in the room here with all the pictures. All you can do is be a good parent. Do the best that you can. They all wind up flying out of the nest. Someday, it's going to happen, and it does. Nothing you can do about it. Then they go off and enter the real world, and they have to work, and they got to work on relationships or finding one, keeping one. Kind of hard to do. When you are insecure with yourself, it makes it even harder. That's the story, Jerry, as they say. That's the story. Do your best as a parent, and that's all you can do. Then let loose. Let go. Let them spread their wings and fly on their own. And that's how it's supposed to happen anyway. I noticed that our friend there has been putting more postings on. You don't learn. Let me ask you something. Whoever wants to answer. Aren't you sick of this shit by now? You've got to be sick of this whole goddamn thing by now. Some people love it to death, but you know, Brisket, it was touching to see her drawings when you showed the photos. Yeah, I've got a lot of them. Don't get me wrong. I love my daughter. But, you know, you can't force somebody to be in your life. I have lots of great memories. I mean, growing up. And I've seen her as an adult many times, of course. I was right there when she had her first baby. And guess what? That was the day. The very day I was leaving for Hawaii. I had a van waiting for me. I didn't even finish cleaning up the apartment. You know, I went to the hospital right away. Just enough time to see her first child, my first grandchild. But it kind of started because she was upset that I moving out of the state. I understand. I understand how she felt. I think that's what started it too. Well, in part, I think that's it. You know, I couldn't be there because her mother was in and out of her life. Her mother didn't give a shit about anything about herself. You know, but which is sad. That is very sad. But it happened the way it did. I had to leave. My dog was being, you know, coming with me to Hawaii. Okay? My dog was frantic. I mean, what the fuck is going on? You know, things were disappearing from the apartment, you know. But I left cutlery, you know, utensils. Oh, God, blow-up mattress. I had an extra for a guest or something. You know, whatever I had. It was a shitty apartment I rented because I sold my house at the time in Seattle. There was some money came from it from way back. I sold the house. I didn't lose the house. I sold the house. She didn't even know I sold the house. Well, see, she was in a relationship with somebody I didn't believe in, okay? I didn't tell her I actually sold the house. I told her I walked out of it, which I didn't. Because I think he was in and out of work with Microsoft through a headhunter agency and all this other shit going on. Seemingly doing well, but then not, and then back and forth and so forth. And then things happened. He turned out to be a real sicko. As I thought from the beginning he was, because I've always thought that he was emotionally void. I was right. As it turned out, he can't get more right than I was. He wound up in jail for distributing or sharing pornographic shit having to do with children. And she had no clue. Well, I had no clue. I mean, how would I even know that? He was so sick, the guy, that he fell in love with his own cousin. And he gave her a lug nut on her finger like a ring. A lug nut. A lug nut. You know, a real lug nut, a metal lug nut. And my daughter's wondering, why are you wearing that? Oh, me and whatever, you know, his cousin, we just play around. We just, you know. He was in love with his fucking cousin. What is this, an Alabama series or something? He was in love, we're infatuated with his own fucking cousin. Yeah. You want to talk about drama? I'll give you drama. His own cousin. Female, you know. And he was doing this shit on the internet. My daughter had no fucking idea. She caught him a couple of times peering in or listening at the door of their own daughter. Wondering she was doing in the bathroom or something. She caught him listening, thinking that she was doing something a little naughty in there, and I won't go into detail. And, you know, she thought about it. Still on her mind. All right, then after a while. But it is believed that he actually has touched or done something with his own daughters. Yes, he was. That's where he's living, in Seattle. Well, because he began dating her afterwards when they were separated. I mean, that's why I know. I don't know, man. Is this Alabama we're talking about or Seattle? Yeah. This guy would get into incest. It wouldn't bother him. People like that, this incest is best. Oh my God. No, there's nothing funny about that. Sounds disgusting. Nothing funny. No, it's not. Yeah, he went to prison. He wasn't there many years. He went to prison. He's on the list. No matter where he moves. He even worked for Weyerhaeuser because after he did Microsoft stuff, it wasn't working well. And he was making decent money. I don't know, $35 an hour or something, doing forklifting, wood and all that for Weyerhaeuser. He was living out in that region, and he worked for Weyerhaeuser. And he was making good money. It's a shame because what you don't know is that this guy was a troubleshooter for all these famous games that maybe you guys would have played. He was a guy, I forgot what they call that position, but he was the troubleshooter. When they were creating these games, he'd go over all the, I guess Don C. would be familiar with that, perhaps. But he actually was the guy who helped make these games, in a sense. He was even going to create his own. Yeah. Seattle is oh God, is it a shithole now? It's a shithole now, worse than you ever remembered. I'm about 2.5 hours away. Are you? Where do you live, Kiki? Where do you live? I was living up in Shoreline, north of the city. Yeah, dumb C, yeah. Like a carny? I don't know well, carny, that's not related to, what does that have to do with no, he would go over these programs or something for faults and make corrections to it or something in the actual programming and somewhat of these games, popular games, electronic games. Oh, Vancouver. Yeah, I've been to Vancouver. It's like a sister city of Seattle. Yeah, Vancouver was cool. If you want to go to what is that, the Gaslight District, whatever. That was kind of funky. The last time I went there was with just some dude. He wanted to go shrooming. And I wasn't into shrooms, but we let's go for a ride and get some shrooms. Oh, okay. Ride. Let's go to Vancouver. Oh, cool. Go to Vancouver, man. And we went there, and we were in a farmer's field near a river. Oh my God, it was all mud and wetty. And he even fell into the river at one point. All this to get some shrooms. Oh, Gastown. Okay. It's been a while. Geez, I haven't been to Vancouver in decades. I mean, I can only imagine what it's like now. But the Pacific Northwest is beautiful. Vancouver Island is nice. I mean, shit, man. There's some really nice places out there. Beautiful scenery. You can't beat that. But like any big city, well, you have its problems. Did Vancouver get as bad as Seattle did, or does Seattle still hold the title on being the most fucked up city in the world with the drugs and everything else? Yeah, it changed a lot, man. I know, because the last time I've ever been there, I've seen the changes when I went to visit her, and that was years ago, and the kids, and everybody was obese. I walk in the store, no matter where I was, what the fuck is going on here? Everybody take a fat pill or something? Then the drugs. Don't forget, my brother spent a lot of years. I introduced him to Seattle. I feel guilty when he left from Indiana because he went from one hot pot to another, and he really got involved heavily in drugs. Then when he got burnt out there and I'd moved to Hawaii, Uh, uh, yeah, why don't you come to Hawaii? And he did, and that was the end of the story there, you know. I don't think I made a good choice to have him come to Seattle. I was always coming to his rescue all the time. For people that think that I didn't give a shit about my brother, he was alive until the day he died, partially because of me. Even my sister I don't talk to, she'll tell you the same thing. And she admitted it many times too. How many times I've actually saved his life, literally and figuratively, really. I mean, I have. So as far as me not being a compassionate person or a caring person, boy, shoot that out the window because believe me, I gave a lot of my time to satisfy other people. I surely did. I was there when they needed me. That was the main thing, you know. And my daughter wasn't there when I needed her, really. I don't like what she's doing to me and not talking to me. I'm totally against that. I don't get to really see my grandkids growing up as they are. But, you know, wives do that also with their husbands in a divorce, you know. They use an excuse not to see the kids. And that's exactly what she did to me. And that was wrong. No matter what was going on between me and her, whatever issues she had, never put the kids in the formula. You just don't do that. And she did that to me. That was wrong, and she has to live with it. And I don't think she gives a fuck, really, when I say she has to live with it. I don't think she gives a fuck. She's always been very self-centered. That was part of the problem. A major part of the problem. They asked me advice. I give her advice, and then she turns on me. I said, look, didn't I give you advice? If you're going to tell me the same thing, I'm going to give you the same answer. But, Dad, I love him. What's there to love? The guy's a fucking pothead, alcoholic. He's using you like you're his mama. Comes there to parks his hat there as a place to live, goes out with his friends and cavorts on the side. As a father, I'm going to give her good advice. And I did. She did that with my brothers. Yeah, but Uncle Al, you know. My brother got tired of it too. He said the same thing. You're making bad choices in your life. The guy's a bum. Who wants to date a bum? The guy worked in fucking head shops, this one guy she's with for a while. But I love him. What do you love about him? He cheated on you. He walks in there with a friend of his, supposed to be a co-worker, and he was actually fucking that woman. Comes in the house, they'll have dinner together, to go out. And then despite, it's called the battered wife syndrome, though she wasn't battered, but I love him. But I love him. Okay. All right. Do what you want to do. I don't want to give you advice anymore. So I'm the bad guy. You see how this works? I'm the bad guy. No, I'm not. As a father, I did what I needed to do as a father. Do you notice she practically got kidnapped from me one time? Yeah. We had a family, I talked that story. We had a family friend. Where was the last time you spoke to her? I don't remember. There's been a couple of things on an email where she said something. This was a while back too, though, but she still has her email. She hasn't changed that. If I need something to tell her, you know. No, I did speak to her when I think my brother was in the hospital for something at that time. It's still going back a while. Yeah, it's going back a while. Well, let me tell you a little story here. Sandy was her name, Sandy Geiger. And this chick was like a friend of my dad's, actually. Younger, of course. She was, you know, a couple of years older than me. But she was Italian-American like he was, and my dad and her mom were friends. Got to know my dad. She used to come over to have coffee, talk story, you know, have lasagna with him. It was like the daughter he never had, but he had a deeper interest in her. But this is not the Philippines, okay? So he had a deeper interest in her, but it wasn't going to work. Even got jealous when I went out with her one time just to go out see a movie or so, whatever we did. Did you kiss her? I said, no, I didn't kiss her. Sandy was a friend. But what happened was Sandy was not able to have children on her own, something to do with, I don't know, fallopian tubes or something. She couldn't have a child on her own. And she got to know my daughter, when I came over there and actually brought my daughter there. And, me and Sandy communicated quite a bit, actually, because she was friends with my dad. She don't answer. Or her boyfriend will answer and say, oh, there's nothing I could do. I'm going to die without knowing her. That's it. That's done. That's, she has to live with it. I've adjusted to it. But anyway, just to continue that story. See, I got distracted now because I have to read your comment. Okay. Oh, okay. So Sandy said, Frankie, why don't you have her come out here? She lived over near Yonkers, New York, in Westchester County, with her husband, who had an HVAC business, successful guy, He wasn't a bad guy, really. He didn't like her craziness, though, but I'll get to that. And I'll make this as quick as I can because I've actually shared this story before. It's nothing new. Hey, why don't you come out here? And I could put her in this summer camp. She'd have a great time. And there's this one camp that, what's her name's children from the Bill Cosby show, who played the wife on there. Her children actually attended this summer camp. It was a great place on Whidbey Island, I think it was. Oh, she'll have a good time, Frankie. She'll have a good time. I said, I got to think about that. She said, but don't tell Louie. Louie's her husband. But don't tell Louie. She says, I'll have her come out. I'll pay for the airfare and all that. But don't tell Louie that. Don't say anything to Louie. I never used to talk to Louie anyway, but don't tell Louie about it. This was all planned. Guess what happened, guys? Guess what happened? Yeah, I wind up agreeing on it. Okay, that's Sandy, I know her. I could trust her. Remember, key word, she couldn't have a child of her own. Let me tell you what I went through. My daughter knew what was going on, And I didn't know what was going on. I would never let her go. I was really, second thoughts on that. I said, what do you want to do? Do you want to go travel all the way to New York from Seattle, to go visit Sandy and to go to summer camp and have some fun and Sandy will spoil the shit out of you, which she did. She was buying her dresses and all kinds of, fancy clothing. And my daughter tells me, yeah, I got my own room with my name on it. Really? Oh, they bought me a bicycle and they bought me a new dresser. And I'm thinking, wait a minute. Something wrong is going on here. It dawned on me that she wanted my daughter to stay there. Hey, this is a real story, man. I'm not fucking around. This is a real story. So I called over there and I said, but her Sandy was listening on the other extension. I'd call over there. I said, Shauna, what's going on over there? Then we had a secret password, Mickey Mouse. And what Mickey Mouse meant, if I ever said that to her in any situation, it means that was our code word, that something's going on wrong. And she said, what do you mean, Mickey Mouse? She knew what I meant, that it was a dangerous word, but she didn't understand. Ginger, stop. She didn't understand what the circumstance was. Oh, shit, I don't know. 10, maybe? It's been a while. So she flies her over there, right? Room with her name on it. And her husband buys her a bicycle. They buy her a dress. I said, something is wrong here. Something is radically wrong. So what wound up happening is, I'll try to condense the story as best as I can, is that I figured it out. Something was wrong. She got on the phone, didn't let me talk to her. I said, you put my fucking daughter on the phone. You know, you're not going to get your daughter. I'm like, what the fuck? I called the FBI, but they couldn't do anything because she was voluntarily sent there. I tried to get the FBI involved, you know. Yeah, it was twisted. But FBI couldn't do anything. So here we go, I had to get a fucking lawyer who's never been to New York. It was exciting to him to go there. He seen what was going on. And you see, Sandy thought I was broke. But thank goodness, I was working for Parks and I had money in the bank. Okay? Thank goodness I did. Because I would have been screwed. I would have lost her. She was trying to get to state because it was still school time. She figured if she put her in classes, listen to this. Learn, baby, learn. It could happen to you. She decided to put her into school. This way, she went to the courts and tried to get some kind of a temporary custody on her. Okay, but she was in school, and she was smart. Sandy was smart. If I get her in school, then it's not going to be easy to get her out of there. Okay? So I get a legal letter from a lawyer or state or something in there saying that I can't go over there, I can't see my daughter, and I can't bring her back to Seattle. And I'm like, what the fuck? Is this something I'm watching on TV? Is this really fucking happening, man? No, it really happened. So I had to fly a lawyer to New York and back. And we went to court on this. It had a good outturn. You'll be glad to hear that. Sandy was just a friend, my father's friend, really. Sandy was my father's friend. I became a friend of hers. She was a younger woman, wasn't my father's age. She was like 22 years older than me at the time. She was a good gal. I like Sandy. She'd come over, visit my dad. He's divorced from my mom and company and all that. My father was, friends with her mother. Oh, cool. I never expected this to happen. So we went to court. I had to fly out there. I stayed with my mom in Long Island. And we went to court. And something very interesting happened there, too. There's this one guy called Andy, forgot him. He was like a child advocate, which means that, see, Sandy made a lot of accusations for me, like YouTube type shit. She made a lot of accusations that I wasn't taking care of her, when the fact was that everything was attended to her. She had a cold, I'd take her to the doctor. She had dental problems, she'd get dental work done, I fixed the problem. Okay, good clothes, everything. I took care of everything with her. I did not miss a thing. But she accused me that I wasn't taking care of her. It started off because she had a fucking bunion on her foot of some kind of ill-fitting shoes she had. I'm not kidding you. Me and Sandy used to discuss everything. Sandy, of course, she was ill in the head, couldn't have a child. She fought really hard, but we went to that courtroom, and Andrew Vax, Vacchs, look him up. He may not be alive now. Andrew Vax. He was on the Oprah show. This guy made appearances on the Oprah show. He represented children, okay? He had a patch on his eye. That's how you know it's him. This is true shit. True grit. So, my mother and her new husband, whatever, was there. We waited, and we went to in the courtroom, and my lawyer said what he had to do. Andrew Vax had read all the accusations from Sandy prior to being in there. He got up and said, my lawyer didn't even do it for me, Andrew Vax did. He said, I don't know exact words, he said, this is bullshit. This man is a good father. He has done nothing wrong. Just like, what Barry's doing with his girlfriend. It was an attempt to discredit a perfectly innocent person, a good father to his daughter. And it was over. I wanted to sue the shit out of him. I said, fuck it. You know, she walked out. Let me tell you what happened was, the end of the court session, she walked out of there. She had brought all the clothes over and everything else, just in case. All my daughter's clothes, because she didn't know where this was going to go. And my daughter was kept in this other room, not listening to all this shit. When it was all over, I went back to my separate little room. It was a waiting room for different parties. We're in a different room. She peeks out of her room and sees me. Dad, what are you doing here? All the way in New York. She had this fucking spring dress on with like a hat from an old movie. Dressed up like a doll. Like a fucking doll. She was Sandy's personal little doll to put makeup on and a little hat with the roses in it and all this stuff. It was sickening. It was absolutely sickening. It was sickening. And Sandy scorned out of there with her tail between her legs, her and her husband. Then later on, as I found it out in time, the husband divorced her because he just couldn't take her. She was so fucking out of her fucking mind. They got into bad arguments over this shit, too. Her husband, Louis, was for what I know of him, he was a decent guy, a hardworking guy, and he did whatever he wanted for Sandy. Whatever she wanted, Sandy got, He's a very good provider to her. Sandy always worked. Started off in a bar. Then she had other jobs. But, her husband, Louis, was a good worker. He knew his shit with HVAC, has his own business. And I could have sued the living fucking shit out of them. Do you know what turmoil that caused me? I had to leave work when this was going on before I had to fly out there. I had tears coming down my eyes. Couldn't believe it that someone who's supposed to be a friend would do this just to have a child. Man, that hurt. Thank goodness I had money in the bank, because you know what? If I didn't, she would have had a kid of her own. They would have took her away from me based on false allegations, just like the shit that's going on in YouTube. It's the same shit, only different, Horrible story, huh? But it's a true story. She had no idea what was going on. And I had to explain to her. And she was old enough to understand me telling her as we walked out of the courtroom. And me and my mother, me and my daughter, hand in hand, my mom and her then husband, and we walked the streets in Yonkers, New York, to go back to her place. And my mother was really happy about it. My mother she was pissed at Sandy. She was pissed. And I didn't like the guy my mother was with, but he was very kind. Even gave us money, make sure we had extra money to get her back home safe to Seattle. That was nice of him. I didn't like the guy, but he was good to my mom, and it's all that really matters, Insane story. Could have been a made. Oh, absolutely. Made, definitely. Even Barry's case is a made for TV movie. Absolutely, man. Absolutely. It would have been one of these movies. Yeah, absolutely. I don't know if she ever adopted a kid or anything, but my understanding is that they living in different places. One was living in Florida, and I don't know where the other one is still living in the general Yonkers, New York area. Still stayed there, has a condo. I even know the condo building, actually. It's been a while. I got it in my records somewhere. Sick. I'm talking sick. Do you know what I went through as a dad? A loving dad, a caring dad, who's never done anything wrong to his child of any nature. And somebody comes along because they couldn't have a child of their own, tried to basically, no matter how you look at it, is to kidnap her. Yeah, this happened. This is for real. It says, your parents were divorced? Yes. Or your mom dated after your father? Yeah. Well, she met a guy during that interim. And that's what it was all about. But believe it or not, his name was Frank. My father's name was Frank, and I'm Frank. What is the coincidence on that? I don't know, but I don't make this shit up. Okay, you think I'm bullshitting? Oh, everything I say is bullshit. This is a real story. You can't, you couldn't, couldn't dismiss what I'm saying here. The turmoil I went through, I couldn't tell you. That was the worst part ever in my life. If I had to say the worst thing that ever happened to me, I would have to say that. I would have to say that. Then after, I came in like a knight on a white horse, man. Oh, here's the thing. Sandy figured that, well, Frankie doesn't have any money. This is going to be just quick and easy, Louis. Quick and easy, no problem. Frankie's got no money. But I did. I was working. I had money in the bank that I put away. And thank goodness I had that money in the bank. She would have been gone. She's gone now, but yeah, she spoiled my daughter to make her want to stay there. She was even telling my daughter that I was a bad man. Can you imagine that? If I ever wanted to strangle somebody, she would be the one I'd fucking strangle, her and her fucking husband. Not as much her husband, but holy shit, if anybody ever had any reason to want to cause harm on somebody, that was a time. But again, you just have to do things legally. That's just the way it is. Yeah, Obama could make up a story like that, LOL, yeah. That really happened. Then to lose her again as an adult because she didn't want to take my advice because I disapproved of who she was dating. And she's old enough to date whoever the hell she wants. However, as a parent, you still don't stop caring. When she met this one guy, she was living under my fucking roof. My roof. Even though she was 18. So we gave her a choice. When she first started dating this guy, I said, he never even introduced himself to me, this one guy, my daughter's boyfriend, first boyfriend, and only one, and winds up, marrying him. She never dated before him. This is personal shit I'm telling, but it's an interesting story. If you want to know what I'm all about and why I fight hard for something to get you to understand what I'm all about, this is a story that'll let you know. Her mother? Her mother was out of the picture. I divorced her mother, She was out of the picture. I called her up and said, Shaw's been kidnapped. What are you talking about? I gave her number. I had her talk to the lady, And then she gave a bunch of bullshit story to her. Another triangle went on there. It was crazy. Oh, Frank didn't take care of it when, my ex-wife knew damn well I took care of her. Better care than she could ever have dreamed of taking care of her on her own. Was my daughter going to live with her and a grandmother in a fucking trailer in Southwest Seattle in a trailer park? No way. I was renting a house at the time. We had 2 dogs that were considered hers. She didn't want to go live with the grandmother. She didn't like her. Then her mother had visitation for a while. Then it stopped when she started dating. Every weekend, we would allow her visitation, and my daughter would come over there. My ex-wife's, were her sister and them. They would come over to pick her up, bring her for a long ride over to West Seattle or Southwest Seattle to the trailer park. But then her sister was single. Her sister's name was Bobby. And they'd like to go out and find the guys. After all, she was a single woman now. Okay? She even worked in a bar for a little bit. Guys were hitting on her and all this shit. She loved it. Got to the point she started dating again. And all of a sudden, the visitation started to stop. Or excuses were made. Quite a story, huh? Maybe you'll understand me now. I'm a person who fights for his rights. And what I went through with that, where somebody was trying to take my daughter away, there's no ins and outs to this story. There's no sidebar stories. There's nothing with that. There was no abuse to my daughter, nothing. It's a good father. I sacrificed a lot of my social life to take care of her. If I was lucky, I went out every other weekend. We'd go out to, there was live music and stuff, you know, me and friends of mine, we'd meet up, and that was it. Otherwise, I was home with her. Home with her. Take her to school, pick her up. I'd have her, if she was really young, I'd have her in daycare. Double, actually, because the YMCA, when she's really young, and they didn't open up till a certain time. It's about 7. So for me to go to work, there was a woman that lived really close to the YMCA. I'd pay her some money to just to watch her for an hour. These people would come to the door. That this little fucking dog that was a fucking ankle biter. They wouldn't stop the dog. Dog's coming out. He's biting my ankles. They'd get up just to let her in. And hopefully she could at least put on the TV for an hour. Otherwise, she'd be sitting on the couch like a statue. She was horribly uncomfortable as she relayed to me. I got her out of there. And I found somebody else. And the person that I found was equally bad because she was punishing children who were pulling out the baby wipes and wasting the baby wipes that she made money on, that she paid money for. And she had wires across the floor, which could have been dangerous for the kid. I pulled her out of there. I was a damn good parent. Then it was all straightened out and the timing and everything, and she'd go to the YMCA because they had the daycare. I trusted the place and all that, you know. Right there in Shoreline where I lived. All's well, you know. All's well from there. But this shit really happened, man. Look, I've been through some horror stories. And you wonder why I'm coming down hard on somebody? Because I will not tolerate. I'm intolerant to the bullshit. I'm tired of being taken advantage of. I'm tired of accusations, allegations, and bullshit. And that made me hard as a fucking rock. Strong as a fucking steel nail. When it comes to anybody who's going to try to pull that kind of shit on me. Now you understand me better. You are truly battle-tested. Yes, I am, Brisket. More than you know. Had to survive growing up with a brother that got into drugs. Coming to his assistance for like half of his fucking life. Rescuing him. I'm hard breed, man. Let me tell you that. I've been through a lot. Maybe I got PT fucking ST, you know? I've been through a lot. And you wonder why I have any anxiety? Like, hello? Anybody home? You wonder why? I'm glad I don't have worse than that. I'm glad I'm alive. Yeah, I've been through some shit. I've been through the cleaners. I had to be mom and dad to my own daughter. Had to protect her from all the bullshit and evil in the world, including a friend of the family that couldn't have a child and decided to basically, legally, try to kidnap my daughter from me. Yeah. This is for real stuff. For real stuff. I love my daughter. Always will. Always. But I can't force somebody to be in my life if they don't. People change. People think I treated my brother bad. My God. Funny card from my brother. Everyone should have a brother like you. Was a funny card. After all, why should I be the only one who has to suffer? Happy birthday, love, Alfred. Yeah. This is my family. They weren't my enemies. They were my family. Love my daughter to death. To death. But what can I do? What can I do? You try and you try, but, you know, what can you do? Nothing. Some say, well, why don't you try to call or give in? I've tried that. I've done a lot of things. Frank, I couldn't do. You want to see something? When I was into my CB radio walkie-talkie days, there's my walkie-talkie in my hand. That was me. And you wonder why I got anxiety? Hello? Anybody home? Seriously. I dated a fucking doctor's daughter who had fucking bulimia. When I went through with that, I even wrote a fucking booklet on it. Bulimia in Relationships by Frank Battaglia. Yeah. How it can affect your personal relationship. Information based on personal experience. I wrote a booklet on it. I got a foreword in here. Bulimia in Relationships. It was an interesting little booklet. I've been through a lot of shit. So when it comes to a scumbag like that piece of shit that I've been dealing with, knowing what you know now, do you really think I'm going to back off on this shit? You got another thing coming. Trials like that break people or make them stronger. Maybe stronger. Yeah, Al is my older brother. Al unfortunately died last March 8th. I didn't know anything about it. Of course, the trolls ran with that one. I didn't know anything about it because nobody told me. He was still living in Hawaii at my house. No, excuse me. Sold the house at that time. He was living in another place. And we talked like every couple of days. Every couple of days. So I tried calling him. Nobody's answering. That's unusual. He carries his cell phone everywhere. Not answering. Something's wrong, man. So somebody wrote me, a mutual acquaintance of ours, said, Frank, this is so-and-so, Steve, whatever. You know, I went by the house to see your brother, but, you know, something's wrong. I mean, he's not there. Something seems strange. Okay, well, thanks for telling me. So I continued trying to call him again. Nothing. Now, me and my sister don't talk. Another story. There's always a story. But I called her up and said, you know, I'm calling because something's wrong. I've been trying to get a hold of Al for quite a while now. A couple of weeks. He's not answering. You know something I don't know? She interrupted me right away. Said, Frankie, Al died on March 8th. So what do you mean he died on March 8th? You don't tell me? I'm not supposed to know? I did more for my brother than my sister would ever do. She couldn't tell me. Then I get the trolls talking shit about that. Your own brother. You didn't even know he was dead. No, I didn't know he was dead. I did not know he was dead. I had no idea. How would I know? If nobody told me. You know, we lived like, you know, how many thousands of miles away? Not only did my sister know, she already had his ashes. She already had his ashes. Imagine that. Wow. Wow. I gave you a story today. I gave you really good stories today. So if you're wondering why I'm a person who stands his grounds, that's why. I don't give up on something, man. I make my mind about doing something, I'm going to do it. I have helped people all my life with no expectation in return. I've carried my brother practically on my shoulders for half his fucking life. He was in and out of trouble with his drinking and drugs. And I'm a bad brother? Fuck you. The best brother you'd ever have. A lot of people wouldn't tolerate. I would have taken him in when he wound up in the streets or something in a bad situation.